Dear brothers and sisters, we have many people sending questions through the net and through other means, and we try to address a few of them so that we're able to get a better understanding of the spiritual path. As you go on the spiritual path, since it impacts each and every aspect of our living, so many questions do come up, because we have a path in which people from all faiths and all walks of life come. They might have been brought up in different traditions, and sometimes when we try to put the path into our own way of life, there are questions that crowd up, and we wonder, should we go this way, should we go that way? So having questions is very good. To think that having a question degrade us is not correct, or to think that if we have a question, then maybe others would think, oh, it's a simple question, this person doesn't even know that. That's not the correct way of looking at life. Questions come from our mind. Our mind needs to be satisfied. If our mind is not satisfied, then we will never be able to take steps towards our goal. So having questions is very good, because once we have a question, then we search for an answer. And once we get a satisfactory answer, then we have learned more about whatever the question was all about, and then our mind gets settled down a little bit more. It's the restlessness of the mind that we need to deal with. And as we meditate, it's the mind that creates all kinds of difficulties by sending thoughts to us. So if the mind is stilled, if the questions of the mind are taken care of, then it becomes easier for us to meditate. It becomes easier for us to put the path into our lives. And so having questions is good. And many times what happens is the question of one person answers the questions of many, many others. And so let us address some of the questions that we got through the net in the last week or so.
If we choose not to get married or have children, are we practicing negative mysticism?
To get married or to have kids is a personal choice that we all make. The path of Sant is telling us that as we live in the world, we need to do our very best at all stages of our life. So the stage when we are a student, we want to do our very best so we learn things well. Stage when we are in the workforce, we need to do our very best to be able to be as efficient as we can to the best of our capabilities. And when we are a family, let's say we are a child in the family, there might be other children, then we do our very best to keep the atmosphere congenial and happy and joyous. It is not important to get married, it's not important to have kids. That's a personal choice that people make. And when you look at life, many times the choices that we make at one time in our life might change with time. There could be a time when a person thinks and they don't want to get married. There's no need for them to get married. And then later on in life, they want companionship. And so they do get married. And there are times when a young couple doesn't want to have kids because they want to focus on the profession and they want to excel in the areas that they think will make them happy. And then later on, they might want to have kids. So, not to get married and not to have kids is not negating life. That's not negative mysticism. Negative mysticism is when we leave our responsibilities, whatever our responsibilities are, and then we, go away from our family and society, and that we are only focused for our own development in whatever we think it would be. So whether we have kids or whether we get married or not is immaterial as we walk on the path of positive mysticism. Positive mysticism saying that whatever responsibilities you have, you should be able to discharge them well. So let's say there's a married couple and they don't want to have kids. So it's okay to not want to have kids. It's okay to lead a life in which you do care about each other, you do provide for each other, you provide for the family that you have, and you do your very best in all arenas, whether it be the physical arena, the mental arena, the emotional arena, or the spiritual arena. And so, whether to be married or to have kids, it's just a personal choice that people have. And it doesn't affect our spiritual well being. As the norm of society that has set up these systems, and it's a personal choice for anyone. We all should understand that we're all individuals, and we all have a relationship with God, and we all need to fulfill the purpose for which we've come to this world. There'll be times where we will spend some time with some others, and so we'll create some more relationships also based on the 25% free will that we have. So it's a personal choice whether one wants to get married or not, whether one want to have kids or not. But to be married or to have kids, or to be not married and not have kids, none of the situations are hindrance to our spiritual growth. Our spiritual growth comes in when we focus on the spiritual growth. And these are personal priorities that people have, and sometimes these priorities also, as life goes on, changes.
What can we do if persistent leg pain interferes with our meditations?
If we have pain, we need to take a good look as to in what position are we sitting to meditate. If you're not used to crossing your legs and you think that meditation comes from the East and psychologically you think, oh, I have to cross my legs, I have to have my hand like this, and then you get into a pose which is not natural to you. Okay? And something which is not natural to you is going to cause pain. The other thing that one needs to understand is, as we meditate, meditation is a process by which we are collecting our sensory currents and collecting them here at the seat of the soul. So those sensory currents are spread out all through our body, and that's why we have sensations. Okay? Now, as we meditate and as those sensory currents start to rise from your feet and through your legs and through your thighs and the middle torso, then the sensory currents are trying to get to the seat of the soul. That's what true meditation is all about. So when that happens, then generally you would feel like a heaviness in your legs. That's very normal. Because the sensation there, the power which is giving the sensation is not there anymore. And so you feel like a heaviness there, because it's just that the power which is keeping a body alive is now pulled up here to the seat of the soul. And so some people take that heaviness to be like a painful situation if they keep their attention in that area. So good meditators know that our attention should be here at the seat of the soul. And nothing below this we need to focus on. So we need to learn the technique of being able to focus right here and not on our legs. And if we do that, then we're not going to be feeling the pain. Now, as we fine tune our techniques, as we learn how to meditate properly, as we make sure that all our attention stays right in front of us and doesn't go below, and if it still pains, then I would suggest that we go to a doctor and see them, whether we go to a doctor with allopathic, homeopathic, or there are many other Ayurveda people who are experts in different forms of medicines. Or you go to a chiropractor, or go get some physical therapy, then you need to address it if the pain is there. But generally, I find that people take the heaviness in the lower parts of the body as the same as if it's painful to them, because their attention is not here and their attention has gone down. Another thing one can do is you can change the pose in which you sit, so that you find something which is very comfortable to you. You can try those things. If sitting down is becoming painful, one can lie down too, even though that's it's more conducive to resting. And then if you can sit only for a certain time, you can always, if it starts to feel more painful, just stop the meditation and do it after a while. So rather than sit for a very long period in one shot, you can break it up into smaller segments. So these are the suggestions that I would have in a situation like that.
How can we please God?
God loves us tremendously, and God realizes that we've been transmigrating, and God wants us to come home. And so God has given us this human existence in which all the faculties that are required for us to know God and to be with God have been provided. So God is pleased when we fulfill the very purpose for which we've come into this world. All of us have the same purpose. We might have been born in different parts of the world. We, definitely have been educated differently. We all have different professions. But our goal is one and the same. And that is to first truly know ourselves, and then to find the merger of a soul and God. So God is pleased when we start to realize who we are, number one. Because if we don't realize who we are, we can never get to our goal. So the first key is to realize who we are. And to realize who we are, we meditate. Right now we live at the level of our senses, so most of us think of ourselves as a body. And that's what most of our life is spent, just taking care of the body, making the body pretty, making sure everything's working well in the physical body. And that's all our time goes in that direction. So God has put us in this situation where we need to first recognize who we are. That we are not the body, this is just a vehicle, it's going to perish. And we've seen this, we see our great-grandparents, grandparents, and then most people see their parents and their lives pass away. Sometimes when it's very difficult and it's a very difficult karma, even have your children pass away in front of you. Okay? So we don't know what life is going to bring to us, but we know for a fact that this body is not going to last forever. So this can't be us. And we've also seen when people pass away, the body doesn't change. Okay? It's not that it disintegrates or something. The power behind the body is gone. and that power is our soul. And so first we need to realize that we are soul. And that realization only sets in as we meditate, as we rise above physical body consciousness. Then only we are able to experience ourselves as we are. Now, once we realize that we are a soul, then automatically we start to focus on, hey, we're not the body. How do I keep the soul clean? What do I do to make the soul look good? And what is needed by us to now reach our goal, which is to find the merger with God. Therein comes in to spend more time in our spiritual practices, and therein comes in the second part, which is very important in our life, which is to love. All of the scriptures are telling us those who love are the ones who find God. Okay? God is an ocean of all love. All love emanates from the Creator. And we're a drop of that ocean, and we are full of love. But unfortunately, because our mind is in our system, our soul, which is full of love, gets camouflaged by the mind. And the mind is very weird, It's jealous of other people. It wants to be better than everyone else. It says, oh, I need to take. Everything's mine. And so the mind is so weird that we start to also live a life like that. Yeah. And so the love that we have within ourselves is kind of camouflaged by these layers that we have around them. And we need to break through. And they break as we meditate. Sant Rajinder Singh Ji Maharaj talked about the meditative journey. He says, खाक से ताबा क्या कशा हमने तो जब किया सफ़र इश्क मिला कदम कदम हुस्न मिला नज़र नज़र. He says, when I travel from the earthy to the heavenlies, he's talking about the meditative journey. Then when he went on the spiritual journey, when he went on and the journey towards God, he found love at every step and beauty in every glance. So he's telling you that the journey within is journey of love. It's unfolding of the love of God. It's unfolding of the love of God that we all have within ourselves. It's experiencing that love of God. And every step we find more beautiful and more beautiful and more beautiful. So the journey within is not only a journey of love, it's a journey of beauty. And the reason the word beauty is used is whatever is beautiful to you gives you a lot of happiness. When you love someone, then you care about them and you want to be sure that they don't have any difficulties. And so when you see the difficulties be relieved, you feel happy. Yeah. But beauty is very interesting. Something that looks beautiful to you, it like calms you down. It gives you, energy within yourselves. It makes you very, very happy. So this is, if you look at life, let's say you see a sunrise or a sunset, it looks very beautiful to you. That's why you're happy about it. Even in the outside things, if you go and buy something, or if you're passing by and some gadget looks good to you or some clothing looks good to you, you want to get it because it gives you happiness. Beauty is something which makes us happy. Beauty is something that goes to the depths of our heart because it makes us calm, it makes us peaceful. It just puts us in a state in which we are very joyous and in a blissful state. So Sant Rajinder Singh Ji Maharaj is saying that not only on every step I'm experiencing more and more love, because the journey within is unfolding of the love of God, but every experience is giving me a lot of happiness because it's more beautiful and more beautiful and more beautiful. So the key to get to be able to make God happy is to be able to fulfill the purpose for which God sent us here. Sant Kripal Singh Ji Maharaj would often say, if you love me, keep my commandments. Okay? And his commandments were like, know thyself. First, we need to know ourselves. And his commandments were, okay, to know ourselves, we need to meditate. And as we go on the spiritual journey, as we experience love within, as we experience beauty within, we're going to be in harmony with the divine. We're going to be getting closer and closer to God. And then, through the grace of a spiritual master, as we rise through the physical, the astral, the causal, the supercausal, and get to Sachkhand, then we can have the merger of our soul and God, which is the purpose for which we've all come here, which is to get off the wheel of transmigration. So the merger of a soul in God is the goal that we need to reach. But to get there, first we need to recognize who we are. If we don't recognize we are soul, if we only think we are the body, or we thinking we are the mind, or we think we are the brains, then we will never be able to reach our goal, because if we think we are the body, then we want the body to be well. So all our life goes into, eating all the LGs and all the other good stuff, and all it goes to exercise, and all it goes to making the body fit. Okay. If we think we are the brains, then all of our attention goes into making the brain more knowledgeable, raising our IQ, getting more knowledgeable about things of the world. But it's only when we realize that we're soul that we start to love God, we start to experience God. All of these other things are not taking us towards God, they're taking us away from God. They're putting our attention in the world outside. It's only when we experience ourselves at the level of our soul that we're able to go on the spiritual journey, which is a journey of love, which is a journey of beauty, which is a journey which fulfills the very purpose for which we've come into this world, because we then are able to get off the wheel of transmigration and find our oneness with God forever. We meditate for a little while, so let's close our eyes for a few minutes, making sure your eyeballs are straight, focused 8 or 10 inches in front of you. And as you close the eyes, those of you who've been initiated in the mysteries of the beyond, let's do our Simran. And those of you who are new here, please repeat any name of God that you feel comfortable with. Right in front of you, with God's grace, light will sprout forth. Please focus your attention in the middle of experience. And with time, many, many other vistas will open up for you. So I pray to God Almighty and to the three great spiritual masters of the past century, Hazur Baba Sawan Singh Ji Maharaj, Param Sant Gopal Singh Ji Maharaj, and Dayal Sant Darshan Singh Ji Maharaj, to help each and every one of us connect with the divine power within and to experience the divine light in its effulgence. So we'll be sitting for a few minutes, and I'll be taking out of this meditative state at that time, and my best wishes are with each and every one of you. Please leave off. Please leave off.